Hi, everyone, and welcome to this episode of my Rising Signs of the Zodiac series. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about what it means if you or someone that you know has your rising sign ruled by the sign of Capricorn. So, what do I mean when I talk about the rising sign? I'm talking about the sign that was on the eastern horizon at the moment of your birth. So, this is very time sensitive. Even a few moments in time, depending on when you're born, can change the rising sign that you have. So it's important to have accurate birth chart data. And the rising sign is the sign that rules the first house of the zodiac. So this is the most important house. This is the house of I am, the house of me, the house of the self. It's the most important house. And it's considered to be one of the big three in the zodiac. So you have your sun, your moon, and your rising sign. So these are the big three that people might talk about. Your sun. So my example that I always say in these videos is imagine you're playing a video game. The sun might represent why you're playing that, what you're wanting to get out of it, what drives you when you're playing that game. And the moon would represent your subjective emotional experiences when you're playing it. And the rising sign would represent the actual avatar within that virtual environment, the actual simulated physical form of the person that you control. So it's like the avatar, it's the face, it's the mask, it's the front reception, it is the actual the actual way that you navigate the world. So it's your rising sign, it's what you take on from very early life on an unconscious level that sticks with you, and it's like coping or survival skills that you're like, I have to be this way in order to thrive in my environment, and that you take that on and that becomes your rising sign. So essentially, what does it mean when your rising sign is Capricorn? Well, you had to get serious. This is a serious sign. Capricorn is probably it's certainly the most serious business, like authoritative energy. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Okay, so Saturn is the planet. It's the planet of restriction, of rules, of confinement. It's associated with things like boundaries, prison, confinement. I think I mentioned that. Yeah. Old age, time, father time. Its authority. Saturn is the furthest away planet that we could see with the naked eye, so it took on the representation of outer limits and confinement. It's also a dull kind of, I say kind of, it doesn't shine so bright like the other stars. It's more of a dull kind of color, and it also moves very slowly. So this is again how it's taken on these associations with like longevity, old age, kind of dull, kind of almost depressing kind of quality. Saturn is absolutely essential. We need to have these rules and regulations and boundary and time in order for anything to exist. So in a way, many people would say that Saturn actually just represents the dimension that we're in, kind of 3-4 dimensional reality that we're in. So it's like it's like the reality. Saturn is the planet of reality. You know, we have planet of dreams like Neptune, we have the planet of beauty like Venus, but we have a planet of cold, hard reality, and that is Saturn. You know, what can be done, what is the actual limits of what is possible. So when you put that and it's ruling a sign, you're getting a very serious, very dutiful energy, very can be severe kind of energy. I mean, I love Capricorn. I love Capricorn energy. I've got a lot of Capricorn in my birth chart. Although I'm not a Capricorn rising or a Capricorn, but Capricorn is also associated with the goat. It's also associated with the goatfish, which I find takes a long time to explain and isn't completely necessary for a bite-sized representation of what Capricorn is. So I'll stick with the goat. The goat climbs the mountain. Rain, hailstone, snow, floods, mud floods, avalanche, whatever the goat vertical surface. Practically, the goat will just keep stubbornly climbing up the mountain slowly, because it's Saturn. It's slow, but it gets there in the end. So this represents toughness, really tough, really just a lot of grit, ambition, and perseverance. It's not flashy. We're talking about a goat. We're talking about a mountain. This is not a very glamorous animal. Not that any animal is glamorous, but it's like, this is tough situation. A tough old mountain goat. And it's associated. Capricorn is associated and intrinsically linked with the 10th house, which is the house of the midheaven, which is the highest point in the sky. Okay, it's the highest point. This is again why it's associated with the mountain. It's very high places. Very high places. It's associated with business, career, ambition, getting to the top. Okay, and its element is earth. So it's practical, pragmatic. Earth is associated with money, material possessions, and physicality. Again, that works well with Saturn, So we've got an idea what Capricorn is. What does that mean when we put that on the ascendant? Well, we're going to have someone that seems sensible, strong, and mature, okay? There is a strength. There is a feeling of like, I'm not messing about here. I'm not going to waste anyone's time. I'm going to get to the point. So that's something a Capricorn might say. It's kind of like, I got no time for games. I want to get serious. Like, we got work to do, like we can play later, but we have to work now. Capricorn is work before play. Capricorn is get your responsibilities done before you worry about anything else. Capricorn is like, yeah, we want to have a good time, but we have to work. It's like taking what you want and putting that aside, taking your emotions and going, okay, got all these emotions, but I can't deal with them right now because maybe people are counting on me, or I got some stuff that I really have to do, so I can't be emotional about this. So Capricorn rising people are good at being like, I'm not gonna worry about emotions and worry about that stuff right now because I have tasks that need to get done. So Capricorn is a workhorse, Yeah, to touch on the mountain goat slash fish, the goat fish. So my perspective on it is the goat represents earth, ambition, the mountain, and being tough. The fish, what does a fish do? The fish swims in the sea, the water. What does the water represent in astrology? It represents emotions. Okay, so this is a dualistic sign. You can't swim in the ocean while at the same time climbing a mountain. You can't do it. So it's uncomfortable for the goatfish because it's stuck between two different worlds. It cannot exist in both at the same time. So the Capricorn rising person, they have a hard time integrating they have a more hard time in general integrating their emotions with their everyday life. It's like they can only really do one thing or another because their emotions are so strong they take them over. One stereotype that's not true about Capricorn is it's a more cold, unfeeling, less emotional sign. It's not true. It's a deeply emotional sign, but they put it away in a way that other signs don't. Other signs might carry it with them and be a bit more outwardly passionate, where a Capricorn rising or a Capricorn person would be like, I have to put it in a box because if I'm dealing with my emotions, I'm swimming in them, like swimming in them, like the fish swimming, completely immersed in their emotions. So they're like, do I want to be completely immersed in my emotions? Is it safe for me to do so? Or am I just going to have to switch off? So it's very black and white like that. So in order to activate the kind of goat, kind of abilities. So generally with a Capricorn rising, what you'll find is less outwardly emotional than most people. However, there will be rare bouts where they are very emotional, but it's more black and white, and you're not going to see that so much. They're going to show their goat side a lot more, So strong, very strong, seems very strong, very solid, mature. Probably seem more mature mature really early on, and probably become a bit less rigid and become a bit more childlike as they get older. It's like a Benjamin Button thing with Capricorn. You start off as a child, very serious. People might say you're You know, you're very mature for your age as a Capricorn rising. And then you kind of learn to lighten up a little bit as you get older. It's like you're born into it. And so yeah, super sensible. Capricorn rising people, they want to do the sensible thing. They want to do like they'll take the serious, pragmatic, responsible choice over the fun, flashy choice, you know, because they're like, well, we have duty and we have to do it. So they can be serious and they can be dry. They can be a bit not fun at times. However, Capricorn rising people, they have a great sense of humor. Capricorn has a really dry sense of humor, and it might surprise people. Um, I feel like I probably got a dry sense of humor. I got a Mercury in Capricorn, so that's my communication. And in a similar way, Capricorn rising people, they might also have a dry sense of humor. Um, so yeah, Capricorn rising people, yeah, cautious, you know, because it's like, yeah, it's like dutiful, cautious. They're like, well, they feel a sense of responsibility, and Capricorn rising people might feel a sense of having to make a good example for others because they tend to be like more, yeah, because Capricorn is associated with the 10th house, which is the most visible part in the chart. You bring that to the rising sign, Capricorn rising are like, well, people are seeing me here. I need to be on top form. I can't afford to make mistakes. So there might be a fear of making mistakes. They're probably not a fear of taking leadership and taking charge and stuff like that, because Capricorn is a super it's a dominant energy. It's all business, you know. It's power, and with Capricorn, with it, is it linked to the 10th house, you know? So it's got that power. So yeah, you could be like, I'm going to step up to this leadership role. I'm going to do what needs to be done. I'm going to set an example. I'm going to take charge here. I'm going to lead. I'm going to delegate. You know, a lot of other people are like, I don't want to do that. Can't be bothered doing that. I feel nervous doing that. Capricorn rising people, they're a bit better at being like, well, I can tell people what to do. I've got this, you know. And that would make the person happy to be like, you know what, like people can rely on me, and that's a good quality that Capricorn rising people have, you know. So like that could fulfill a need here with Capricorn rising, to be like, you know what, I've taken charge of a situation and it's worked out really well for people, you know. So yeah, ambitious, you know, I've spoken about that before. So definitely always working toward a goal, you know, like that tough mountain goal, you know, I need to get to the top. It won't happen overnight. So you're good at playing like the long game, you know. So yeah, hold on a second. Sorry, I'm a cat. Visually, wearing a lot of dark colors, a lot of black, a lot of grey, not so much patterns, strong fabrics. I think, yeah, I'm just thinking, you know, like the whole mountain thing, you know, practical, you know, Capricorn, you know, associated with wealth, with power. So maybe, you know, I mean, everyone has like some vanity, you know, with like vanity. So like Capricorn rising people, yeah, with that material connection there, they could be like wanting to dress like in expensive clothes, but it won't be flashy. You know, people say that about Taurus. They're like, Taurus, they look good, strong, good color coordination, you know, good materials and everything, but they're not flashy. I would also say that's the same with Capricorn. Maybe similar to Taurus like that, like simple, plain, but with Capricorn it's a bit more dark colors and a bit more kind of I think of like business casual when I think of Capricorn rising. So understated, you know. Capricorn rising people can be quiet, a bit shy, especially when they're young. I think, yeah, it's kind of like you might. I don't. I can see Capricorn rising people being good at public speaking. However, I can see them also having a bit of maybe social anxiety sometimes, struggling, and in more like everyday situations, having a bit of stress about that, you know. And yeah, what Capricorn rising people might not understand is like sometimes you might come across like intimidating to other people because you're quiet and strong, you look strong, you have maybe an authority about you, And you might be like thinking anything. You might be like, oh, I'm a bit nervous here, but that you're probably not going to come across that way. You're probably going to come across a lot more solid and strong, you know, and other people won't pick up on that. So yeah, like just again, you know, Capricorn rising, they're all about, you know, like what do I need to do? What do I need to get done? Who's counting on me? What are my obligations? You know, like I'm saying, kind of serious, but also, you know, can be funny, dry, sense of humor, really responsible, really solid, you know. It's yeah, it's a great energy, you know. So just to speak quickly on the descendant. So with Capricorn rising, you are a Cancer descendant. You're on the Cancer Capricorn axis. That is the midheaven IC axis. That's the fourth house, 10th house axis. So you, yeah, again, I forgot to mention, like you're probably quite outgoing. Capricorn rising people probably quite outgoing, and although I mentioned a little bit maybe um yeah, maybe being a bit more quiet or shy and all that, like you're, like I'm saying, like you're not afraid of being out and about, people seeing you, being in crowds, public speaking. I think that you're probably quite good at that. You would do well to have someone, romantic partner, family, friends, people around you who have Cancer qualities. So that is like people who encourage you to be more in touch with your emotions, and people who encourage you to not be so hard on yourself, because you can be hard on yourself, and you can be kind of hard on other people as well, like kind of really tough, you know. So Cancer, there's some people who would encourage you to just be, yeah, more gentle, you know. Maybe be like, you don't have to work so hard, you can spend more time at home, you can chill, take it easy. I think you're often thinking about what needs to get done. People who can encourage you to reflect and look back and, you know, like remember things and encourage your sentimentality and your yeah, sensitivities and your the subjective world within you, your emotions that you might run away from. So people who can encourage you to have that as well. And Cancer being your descendant, you're probably going to run into a lot of these people. Also, with the descendant, although your descendant seventh house represents other people and experiences with other people, it also represents part of you, a part of you that you don't identify with and you find it hard to see and you find it hard to connect with. So you, but it is part of you. Like you do have that Cancer energy within you, but it's like you might find it a bit hard to connect with unless you have a lot of Cancer in your chart. So having other people with those attributes can really, really help you. So yeah, like that's it for this video. If you liked it, please leave a like, please leave a comment, hit the bell icon. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, and bye for now.